crew. Welcome back to the It's Not Fake Fan Cast. You know what it is. We call ourselves a fan cast because podcast is reserved for journalists. We're not journalists. We're not agents. We're not bookers. We're not insiders. We're not wrestlers. We're not interviewers. We don't own shit. We don't know any wrestlers. We don't care to know any wrestlers. But what we do is we've been spending our time, efforts, and money into something we love, which is professional wrestling. And now we are spending our time with you, the fans, because we are fans. Let me introduce you to the crew. Malik B. Jones. Man, name so dope. He don't need a nickname. What's up, man? Where we going, content guru?
We're going to go all around. I can't wait to talk about everything.
All right, let's go. Passing the mic to my tag team partner, Antonio Marks, the Marksman. We call him the Marksman because he's a grown man, John Cena fan. What's going on, Rich?
Cena fan. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. We got a love for the sport. That's what we're here to talk about. Don't hate on me. It's because you like that Isaiah Swerve Scott boy. We know.
Oh, that's negative. And our fourth member, my cousin, my blood, my brother, Najee Darkness, is not here tonight. He will be editing this podcast. Happy anniversary, brother. Spend your time with your wife and your kids and all that. Big shouts out. And I am your host, Ahmad the Dark Show. And if you don't like my nickname, I will scratch you in the face with my toenail. Malatin B. Jones, let's go, man. What we talking about?
We're going to talk about wrestling right now. And it's right now, wrestling's all in limbo. But the main thing that just happened to all of us is Kenny Omega winning 3 belts. Big news in the wrestling world. And we have a lot going on in AEW.
Let me correct you. That man has 4 belts. Oh. Isn't he the AAA champion?
Yeah. So I think it's AAA.
Right, my bad.
Isn't that considered a world title?
Absolutely.
It's the company's top title. I consider it a world title.
So this motherfucker got 4 world titles in 3 different companies. I mean, I guess he is the best belt machine. What you think, Reg?
B4K, man. Like Kenny Omega, he took over the spot. Like the only thing he has left to do, he is like the new era Sting almost. That's how it feels. He just doesn't have to come to WWE to show how banging he is. People like will always know. Like he has his name is so much bigger than WWE. That's what I mean by comparing him to Sting. Don't get it.
Okay, because you know I was about to disagree wholeheartedly.
I know you. I saw you ready to pounce.
I was like, what the fuck you talking? Now I love Sting. You know I love Sting, right?
I know you love Sting,
but this is taking me back, and I said it before. It's taking me back to the territory days, but it's with a modern twist. Because it's not really territories. These are companies. Now there's mad competition. It's not just one company. And that's all we got, like, for the last 15, 20 years. Now, within the last, 3, 4, 5 years, these other companies have emerged, whether they've been around for a while and they're just getting better, or whether they're new like AEW. Now, you can make a living and live and be a fan of things outside of the WWE, which is a lot of fun. I think Kenny Omega doing what he's doing is similar to what Ric Flair did when he would go and wrestle the best wrestler in each territory and defend his NWA title, except it's like if Ric Flair was also collecting those titles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
So on
that note, is you seeing WWE as an eventual destination for him?
No. Negative.com. What do you think, Chevy?
I think that Kenny Omega is a different guy that doesn't need to go to WWE. He doesn't need to go there. The only thing I'm worried about is where does the storyline go? Because he can't just, if he's going to win all the belts, he's got to lose them at some point. Who beats him? They got to start building some kind of stars somewhere to beat him. I don't feel like he knows if he goes to WWE, he's afraid of what they're going to do to everybody else. They'll ruin his character. They'll make him different. He don't want that. He wants what he likes right now. And look at him. Why go to WWE? Who in WWE has 4 belts right now? Nobody. Nobody has 4 belts in the company. So,
Chimpy, you always do this, man. You always, as soon as somebody wins a belt, you're ready to get it off of him. Yo, he just won. What you mean building somebody to beat him? No.
Later on, at some point. I'm saying you can't have him win like 9 belts and have him lose to like
he just got to get 2 more.
It's going to get stale and boring after a while.
No, it's not. Look, stale and boring. We ain't never seen no shit like this before. Listen, man, he needs 2 more belts, in my opinion. He'll go get that Ring of Honor title in the summer or the fall, hopefully. And then Wrestle Kingdom, oh shit. The return of Kenny Omega in the Tokyo Dome for the New Japan title against whoever that champion is, whether it's Will Ospreay or Bushi or somebody. And he shows up there with the AEW title, the Impact title, the TNA title, the AAA title, and the Ring of Honor title on some fucking Ultimo Dragon type shit. And he beats whoever it is for the New Japan title and then maybe he challenges the world champion in WWE or the Universal champion in WWE to a match at WrestleMania or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
No.
But
No.
I'm saying I think that's where we're headed. And I think that's fun, man. I mean, you're cross branding. So that means everybody, if Kenny Omega is able to go to TNA or Impact and do what he's doing, and you see cross branding now between Impact and AEW with other wrestlers, why can't we start just doing cross brand wrestling outside of the WWE? You're forcing the WWE's hand there. You're creating a larger competition, not just 4 separate competitions or 3 separate competitions like Impact, AEW, and New Japan. You throw Ring of Honor in there. I think you create one big ass competition where everybody's together, right?
Like I see where you're going there, but it's not exactly like WWE's fault. They've always tried to monopolize the game. That's why they are like the juggernaut that they are. So like they made this whole WWE versus everybody else thing. It's not, and I don't see the way it going the way you say while Vince is alive. Like it's just what it is. Like I have my juggernaut, y'all keep trying, but in the meantime, like all these forces are joining, and that's like all of a sudden like they're left out, and it is a eventual if they don't change the shift. Like yeah, they got NXT. That's like another like thank God they have their little goose egg there because NXT puts on way better matches. Like I'd rather watch NXT than Raw any day. Like like I'd rather Kenny Omega showed up at NXT than on Raw or SmackDown.
Wouldn't that be counterproductive?
No, I'm just telling you right now. Let's just walk in here and take your other shit then. Since y'all tried to compete with us on Wednesdays, I'm gonna show up on
Okay, so
what already lost the Wednesday Night War to us and take that title too.
So Vince will never let that happen.
Yes, I know. That's why I said not while Vince is alive.
All right, stop being a mark
It's
for
never
2
gonna happen.
seconds. Stop being a mark for 2 seconds. Go ahead, Jimmy.
That will never happen. He doesn't want to go there. I understand why. He works for. Think about it, how many companies he works for. He works for. I mean, he still works for AAA. He's still their champion. He definitely got a payday from the Impact pay-per-view, and he works for AEW. If he works for Vince McMahon, you work for one company. You get your payday. You got to work a lot. This and that. Kenny Omega doesn't want. I mean, he shows up on TV on Wednesday here and there, but like he doesn't wrestle as much as we really think about it. You know what I mean? Which is fine. I mean, he still has great matches, but he wouldn't go to WWE. That would be silly to do. Right now, he is the best thing going in wrestling with all the belts and everything. I think he's above Roman. I think that win put him above Roman right now. The only thing I'm worried about, like I said, is he needs some contenders. You can't just have every match him crush people. You got to have someone that can. If it doesn't beat him, then pushes him to the limit. You know what I mean? You got to have that.
3 quick points I want to end off with. One, when you're a main eventer, especially if you're a world champion, you don't need to wrestle every week. You know what I'm saying? You may show up, you talk your shit, maybe attack somebody or you get attacked or something like that. But I don't want to see a world champion wrestle every week because it takes away from you being world champion, I think. Especially in like non-title matches, that shit get on my nerves. I can see a tag team match or something to progress the storyline, but he doesn't need to be there every week, or he doesn't need to wrestle every week. The second thing is he hasn't reached the level of Roman Reigns yet. I don't care if you want to admit it or not, or anybody out there wants to admit it or not. That's the guy right now in wrestling. No matter what motherfuckers think. I don't care what you think. Fuck your feelings. Roman Reigns is on top.
Singing a total different tune.
I mean, but right now Roman Reigns is on top. You know what I'm saying? I mean, time goes on, things change, things evolve. And I think the third, what was the third thing you said? Oh, yeah, contenders. Well, I think we're going to see a new round of contenders. Um, Samoa Joe, I think it's a good contender no matter what company he goes to. If he goes to Impact or AEW, he can run into Kenny Omega. You know what I'm saying? You got guys like that. So,
Joe Kenny would make a banging match.
I mean, you got Big Show who wants to wrestle. Big Show and Kenny Omega can do something. Shit, why not? AEW. He got to defend against somebody. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? But unless y'all got something else to say, we got to move on. Shouts out to Kenny Omega for making wrestling fun.
Damn straight.
I hope
second
we.
that. Cheers.
I hope I never see. I'm just like stuttering right now because I hope I never see Kenny Omega Big Show. Please, please, please. No, no,
Stop
no.
sleeping on the Big
Please.
Show, man. Like,
No,
stop,
no.
Stop ragging on the Big Show.
No,
He's
He
no.
definitely
would.
like,
He wants it. He probably wants it himself, man.
Big Show is top 5 big man of all time, and we got that for another show for y'all. But what's next, Jim?
Let's talk about the next Limbo thing, which is what's going on with NXT right now. We got a bunch of different storylines happening, new things are happening, and a bunch of different. The title games in Limbo, there's like 3 different contenders. Now it looks like there's 4 different contenders. So let's talk about that. What happened tonight?
Can we talk about, and I don't think we mentioned this last show, can we talk about how Kyle O'Reilly looks like a fucking idiot now?
Yes. Can we talk about how Kyle
That's
O'Reilly
sad.
Like, what's up, dude? He had to go on the internet and defend himself from not looking like Orange Cassidy. Like, motherfucker, you look like
You
Orange
look-
Cassidy, bro. Like, what the fuck?
You
And
look like Orange
got
Cassidy
the
hit a
win
thrift
last week.
store.
Yeah, it's like, did they do that on purpose because the Young Bucks is dressed like Seth Rollins or something? Like, what's up with that, yo? But anyway, yeah, but the title picture in NXT right now is in Limbo. It is dope, though. I mean, Cross is the man, right?
Yeah, he handled everyone tonight.
Talk
I just want
about
to
it.
throw that out.
Talk about it.
Did you watch like that promo that he had? Everybody came out to the ring. Everybody tried to take a piece, and he shut them down like they were paper dolls, man. It was so funny. He just blew their houses down like the big bag wolf. Like, no, you can't fuck with me. No, you can't fuck with me. No, you can't fuck with me. We're talking 3 of the top dudes in NXT right now. We're talking Finn Balor. We're talking Pete Dunne. We're talking Kyle O'Reilly, Kylo Cassidy, whatever you want to call him. And then it took like Austin Theory and like Johnny Gargano jumping him, like to get the grip on him. And nobody can really fuck with that guy right now. I don't see him having any. Like I say it's in Limbo. I agree because I don't see anybody taking that strap from him unless he hurts himself again. It's the only reason he lost it in the first place.
Yeah, you mean Orange O'Reilly. What you got for that title picture, Chan?
It looks like the title picture just changed. All 3. I thought it was going to be like a fatal 4-way with all those guys involved and everything like that. And I was interested because I was like, "Oh, Pete Dunne. I like Pete. Pete Dunne's the only guy that hasn't fought Karrion Kross. Kyle O'Reilly has fought Karrion Kross before. Finn Balor has fought him before. You know what I mean? That's the only person that hasn't fought him. So I was like, "Oh, I'm interested in this." And then Johnny Gargano shows up, which I was like, "Huh?"
Mm-hmm.
And hits him with his belt and takes Carrie. He's the one takes Karrion Kross out. And I was like, "Oh, wait a second. Is Johnny Gargano going to be Johnny 2 Belts soon?" And I think that's what's going to like that might be what they're going to with NXT. They've been pushing him for this whole year. They've been pushing this guy. He has his own like stable, So I'm very interested. Like, I hope I don't know when the next NXT takeover is, but I'm very excited for this event. I'll tell you that much.
So let me ask you something on that note, because I guess we can just segue right into the next thing of the way. Let's just talk about the way. Since you it's already brought up Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory right there. How about Candice and Indy taking the belts tonight? Or you think they're setting them up as like the first like mixed tag like evolution kind of thing? Which you just talked on, like Johnny 2 Belts. Doesn't have to be Johnny 2 Belts. They could go old school and give him the old Austin Theory versus John Gargano. He pricks him and he falls on his back to change the North American championship. But the way is on its way up. If that's where I was like taking with this. It was a question, Jim.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I think they're definitely on their way up. I mean, they've been pushed for a long time. And that whole main event match showed it. Like that match was very hardcore street fight with 4 women. And Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon have had the belts for months and months and months now. To see them lose the belts was like, what?
Wait,
What?
what do you mean
You
months and
know?
months and months? The titles haven't existed for months and months and
Well,
months.
well,
I think they're
the titles
passing those
is
titles around like very fast. The tag team
well,
women's titles in NXT,
there's only been 2 champions now.
3.
There's no,
Raquel and Dakota Kai were inaugural
well, all
champions.
right. Well, they gave them the
handed to 'em.
belts. To me, they gave it to them. Sorry, but that's not like winning a belt. You know what I mean? I think it's a little different when you win the belt in a match, opposed to here's your belt. You know. So
Well,
I
they
felt
haven't
different
existed
about
all
that.
year, and it's May now, and we've already got like 3 owners.
But that's the world of WWE with some belts. Think about the 24/7 belt. Like, that's what they do. They don't care. They don't think about how prestigious we can make certain people. You know what I mean? It's like, here, you get the belt for a month, and give it to Randy Orton. Here you go. You know what I mean? Have a good day. That's what happens.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a while. But I think you're right. The way is on their way up. I know Ahmad's not going to be happy because he's not a fan of Johnny Gargano, but they're
No,
doing some things.
wait. Stop. It's not that I'm not a fan of Johnny Gargano. My only issue with Pipsqueak Johnny is our cousin Najee, shouts out to him, editor extraordinaire, Darkness, thinks he's the greatest wrestler ever. And I'm just saying he's totally not. That's it. Just calling it like it is. It's like how y'all overrate Bret Hart. He's just not that fucking good. But we can get into that later because I'm sure Bret Hart is going to be on one of your fucking top 5 lists, and I'm a roasting. So, go ahead, Jim. You can finish that out.
Yeah, so I think NXT was really good. The title picture is getting good. The ending match is good. I don't know if that storyline finishes or it might continue. It could, with how hardcore it was. I could definitely see a rematch being just the same way. And NXT's, since moving to Tuesday night, I've been liking every episode. Wednesday night, it kind of was like, ugh, what is this they giving me? But Tuesday night really changed the game. It's been good for them.
So, do you think they're booking it differently because they're not competing against somebody, so they're more relaxed?
That can very well be the case. That could very well be the case. Now we ain't got to worry about like trying to match your main event with our main event, which you actually saw very frequently when AEW and NXT were on the same time. If you had the ability, or like Chimmy did all the time, you like to watch them both at the same time. There was probably starting with a tag team match versus starting with a tag team match, starting with the women's, starting with the women's. Like they had a formula they were trying to match, and it was very obvious. Not even kind of obvious. It was very obvious. So like, it seems like they are a little bit more relaxed. I do agree there.
I think the best thing that comes out of it, at least from my standpoint, is both their ratings are up. Because NXT's ratings went up when they switched to Tuesday, and AEW's ratings went up when they switched to Wednesday. You're not splitting the vote anymore. You know what I mean? And you're making wrestling look good by drawing those numbers. So now we got wrestling 5 days a week, and you can watch New Japan whenever you feel like it on the app. And then we might have a Saturday pay-per-view, and we might have a Sunday pay-per-view. So at least once or twice a month, we're going to get 6 days a week wrestling. And for 4 in those other weeks, we're going to get 5 days a week. So I think it's good for wrestling. It gives us something to watch every single night, and it's good for their ratings because their ratings are going to go up because you're the only thing on any particular night instead of going head to head, with each other and splitting the vote. I think that's actually a good segue to what we're going to talk about next because we should talk about what's going on in AEW.
What's happening tomorrow night? You talking about with the?
We can get there. I mean, we could talk about the title picture. I think we should touch on who's a contender in AEW for Kenny Omega. I see they're booking things around not worrying about that, but eventually they're gonna have to address this.
They really just been letting him have his like free time, like since he's been so busy with Impact thing. This is probably just more Tony Khan at work than anything, and at the same time, he'll still do his promos. Like you already said, the main eventer doesn't have to wrestle every week, but there's no one even jumping into championship picture, like you also just said. So that's a huge thing over there. Like where is the title picture even
Well,
in
you got
existence? Because the Pinnacle versus Inner Circle seems to be everything right now, and it's a good enough distraction from the title thing. Like the storyline is great on it. Don't get me wrong. And then in the background, you got the Lucha Brothers. I mean, the Death Triangle destroying stuff every week, but they really haven't needed the title. Does that make any sense?
I mean, I definitely think it's they're booking away from the world title, but also, you still got John Moxley is kind of involved in that. He seems like he's the number one contender currently, but we can't just keep going back and forth with those guys. Who's like the up and coming guy right now in the picture right now? I mean, I guess we can talk about Blood and Guts. And obviously we don't know how it's going down. It seems like it's going to be a long ass match, right? Because what else is booked for that card?
I think there's only like 3 matches for that card. There's not a lot for it, but I'm fine with that because I
Can you
want
pull it
this
up?
match to be
Yo,
crazy.
can somebody pull up
I think
that card real quick? Because
Give me a second.
yeah, because obviously Kenny Omega's not defending no titles.
No, he's
in
not.
AEW.
I don't think there's any title match that night. I'm pretty sure.
I also like the fact that their women's division is starting to pick up. I think they might possibly get Chelsea Green. Not sure about that. I hope so. There were rumors of Tessa Blanchard. Thank God those are just rumors because I do not want to see her fucking dumbass on AEW. Fuck Tessa Blanchard. Tessa, if you hear this, fuck you, bitch.
All right, so you ready? You ready for the match card?
Yeah, it was a match card.
All right, so first got like we already know, the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. Then we got Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall, Kenny Omega and Nakazawa versus John Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
Okay, so
Britt Baker versus TBA to be announced, and so SCU versus Jurassic Express versus Varsity Blondes versus the Acclaimed.
Oh, so that's gonna be
it's for a number one contender match.
That's gonna be a sick match.
There are no titles on the line.
Even though I think the winner of that tag team match gets fed to the Young Bucks, the Young Fucks, but I definitely think that. But I definitely think that it's going to be that's a quality card. So at least the Pinnacle versus Inner Circle is going to take up the whole show, like I originally.
That's going to take up a chunk.
Yeah, but it's not going to take up the whole show, and they got 3 or 4 other matches. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to have to give those matches some time. It'll probably take up the second half of the show. So we'll probably get those 4 15-minute matches in the beginning of the show. But it sounds like it's going to be fun, man. Are there stipulations to these other matches? Can you see that? You're muted. Najee, edit. You're muting. You're muted.
Oh, my bad. There are no stipulations to any of the matches except for the Blood and Guts match. Everything else just seems to be like a straight one fall.
Well, we're definitely going to get a great match out of the tag match too. Omega Nakazawa versus Eddie Kingston and John Moxley. I mean, we're going to see some shit in that match. You know what I mean? I know you said there's no stipulations, but that's going to be closer to a no DQ. You know what I'm saying? The type style of match. Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall, a little Nightmare Family turmoil there. I mean, I guess that's cool. That seems like a filler match. And whatever Britt Baker's going to do, that I'm not sure about that. Hopefully that's Jay Cargo though, or somebody like that. What you think, Sean?
Well, Britt Baker is on her way to wanting to challenge Cheetah, showing that she's better in the bracket. So I really think that that might happen. Jay Cargill has a good record too. She might show up on tomorrow night. I would love that. As for everything else, the tag team match will probably steal the show. That'll probably be the opener of the show. QT Marshall Cody Rhodes match, that'll be the end of that feud. And I'm sorry, skip a little bit ahead, but the Blood and Guts match that's probably going to be the end of the inner circle as we know it for right now. I don't know if they're going to lose the match. They might lose a match, whether they do or not. Jericho is probably going to go on tour. Swagger wants to do MMA. Proud and Powerful probably the only one to stick around, and Sammy will stick around. That's it. This is probably going to be the end of the inner circle and give Pinnacle, put them up there for beating the inner circle in that match would be a huge thing for Pinnacle right now.
Do you see a swerve happening? Like you're
I
saying,
don't.
that if it's the last time we're going to see the inner circle, something dramatic has to happen, right?
Or they just could beat them. You know what I mean? These guys could just beat them. They're younger. You know what I mean? They're hungrier. I mean, maybe somebody swerves. Maybe Sammy jumps on them, but I don't see that. I just see Pinnacle beating them and being ready for that. Being just they're better. They're better than us. They beat us. You know what I mean? We're done. And then maybe Inner Circle come back later, but I feel like we're not going to see Inner Circle for a little bit after this.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, maybe Jericho does have to go on tour or something like that, but I don't know if they're just going to straight up just beat him, just finish them off like that. I think if it's like you said, the last time we see the inner circle for a while, or if they do break up, I think it's probably going to be through a swerve or something like that. I don't know, Reg. What you think?
I mean, the Pinnacle definitely needs that right now. Like it's great for like all these new guys and up and comers that we knew was going to run stuff one day to have this gimmick together. Like, so I think that's like very huge. And it's Chris Jericho, man. We know we can expect nothing but a good match. As far as the swerve goes, why does something tell me a little bit that the drama they were building up between MJF and Sammy Guevara could very well like see a Sammy swerve? Like this whole thing could have been a setup. Like it's good deviousness that like we love in wrestling. Even though he was like the one like trying to call out the problems, it could have been that way the whole way. And yeah, if this is the inner circle that is good, like they can't all just disappear. Like I think Sammy is like still got a huge thing like going for him. I see that going that way. As far as Cody QT, yeah, that's a little filler there, and I can't wait for the tag team match because I love the combo of John Maxley and Eddie Kingston, man. Like, you want to talk mouthpieces galore. Eddie Kingston can cut down a promo anytime, and John Moxley can tear down the show anytime. Voice.
Yeah, obviously, I think that's going to be a great match, but let's not sleep on the 4-way though. What was that? Jurassic Express, you said?
SCU, Jurassic Express, the Varsity Blondes, and the Acclaimed.
Acclaimed. Yeah, I mean, now is that an elimination style match? Do you know?
Or is that just 4-way tag team? Nothing about elimination.
Probably first pin or something like that.
Yeah, probably first pin that one.
I do like SCU just recently going heel though, so I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that match could steal the show because there's going to be a lot of crazy shit happening in that match. It's going to go buck wild. But yeah, I'm most excited for the Kenny Omega, Eddie Kingston, John Moxley match. All right, well, we got this is actually a good time to mention our sponsors. Tonight, we are sponsored by King's Cannabis. King's Cannabis is out there in Oregon. They're based in Eugene, but they're all over Oregon. And if you see strawberry cakes, strawberry short berries, or any kind of strawberries and say King's Cannabis on it, get it because it's good. Ask Chimby. He on some of that shit tonight. But King's Cannabis, check them out on Instagram, check them out on Facebook and other social media platforms and on the internet. And if you're in Oregon, go get that shit. King's Cannabis, Eugene, Oregon. All right, what we got next year?
I guess next thing we should talk about is our WWE picture. What we got going on Raw. We got a triple threat match for the pay-per-view coming up in a few weeks with Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. I mean, who do you think's walking out? Who you think's walking out?
I think Braun Strowman's there to get pinned. That's what I think. I think no matter who wins between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, they will be protected. And what better way to protect them than to throw in a guy like Braun Strowman when it doesn't matter if he loses because he's not really a main eventer anymore. And we've seen him lose before. And there's multiple ways they could pull that off. You know what I mean? Especially in a triple threat match when there's no DQ, no count out. I think Lashley goes over because you got to keep pushing the guy. You can't just keep having that belt bounce around. I hate that shit. So I think Lashley wins, and I think he pins Braun Strowman somehow. Like maybe Drew does something to Braun, Claymore kick or something like that. Lashley takes out Drew, pins Braun. I think it's setting it up for something close to that. But I'm down with it. I mean, I think the WWE is getting it more exciting now because they see their competition down the road. What you think, Reg?
I mean, Lashley's definitely walking out with the title. It's not an if and or but I like how you're just throwing Strowman in there to take the L. They do it to the big dude all the time. But I don't see it being that easy, just like him Claymoring him, like or something like that. I feel like Strowman's gonna get like destroyed. Like I feel like more goons are gonna come into play. I think MVP has a lot more cards to play in this like ordeal. Like who knows? Like we know the Hurt Business is all trash now. I kind of wish they had never did that. We all know that. T-Bar and Mace.
Hold on. Let me stop you there and ask you a question. Because me and Shimby talked about this the other day off air. But what's better? Having Lashley in the Hurt Business and he's like the leader of this faction. He has the world titles and the other two motherfuckers are jobbers, or you make him into like the black version of Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, and you make him dominant. And in addition to that, unlike Brock Lesnar, Lashley's not going to hijack the title for 2 years. He's actually going to perform and wrestle. So he doesn't need those other two guys. I think personally, you have MVP and Bobby Lashley, and if they got goons, they got goons, but they don't need to Hurt Business, in my opinion.
Well, that's where I was kind of taking it, is that the Hurt Business is bigger than like just that little faction they had. That's what MVP is making it now. Like, look, I'm gonna just make something happen. Like this is how a businessman handles stuff. I just make things happen. Don't worry about it. Like, and Bobby Lashley just goes in, does his almighty thing, and that's that. So I do like that. I love that comparison you just used of the black Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Like that is on point.
Well, the formula is already there and it works. And then you add to it that the fact that he performs every week and performs at every pay-per-view and defends the title, you book him as like he looks like more of a monster because he's not hijacking the belt; he's running through cats. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
This run that Lashley's doing right now is probably the best run he's ever had. And, came back. He had to do some weird storylines, Lana and all that stuff, but he's really come back strong and been big. And I mean, he haven't that stable. Everybody's like, oh, like Hurt Business. That was Lashley stable. He was the leader of it. That was for him. So they don't need once a guy gets big enough, you know what they do? So guess what? You don't need this stable anymore. It's like it'd be like having Hulk Hogan with, you know, typhoon and earthquake. Like, no. You don't need that. You're bigger than that. You're going to be over here in your own land as a champion is. And that's what I think's going to happen when he wrestles this match. He's going to be a champion once again. He's going to win. He's probably going to look dominant. He's looked very physical and dominant. Like he beat both these guys this week. If they put the belt back on McIntyre, which is the only thing I could see them doing, I think it would kind of diminish all that work they did to make him the guy. All the work the Hurt Business did to make him, make him the number one guy. It would really ruin things. So you gotta have him keep winning. He can lose a belt at SummerSlam, but he's got to keep winning until then. It doesn't make sense to take the belt off him right now.
Did you just fucking compare Bobby Lashley to Hulk Hogan, bro? We're gonna get Bobby Manny. We're gonna get Bobby Manny out this motherfucker.
I'm just saying he's a star. I'm saying look, Hulk Hogan we know is one of the biggest stars in wrestling. I'm saying Bobby Lashley's his own star, but he doesn't need a stable. He doesn't need, in a way, he does kind of need MVP because of what they're doing, the formula they're doing. But he doesn't really need MVP if he wanted to. He doesn't need any of that. He is a star and a champion and is on that level.
I kind of disagree, right? Like with that, like very quick, because I think he does need MVP. I think he didn't really get the chances that he already know. We know he's a world champion, but I don't think he got any of that before. He gained that mouthpiece, like Brock Lesnar could kick people's asses too, but like when it came to promos and stuff, he couldn't cut it. And I think Bobby Lashley's the same way. They're giving him a little bit more mic time right now, but it's also like MVP is this microphone Miyagi. He's teaching him how it's done. So I completely disagree that he like didn't need him. He doesn't. Maybe in the future they can try and separate it, but it'll also be the end of the almighty gimmick. You feel me?
Well, yeah, Bobby's voice, just like Brock's voice, isn't the most threatening voice. So I think it's good that he has a mouthpiece. But I'm here for Bobby Mania and shit. But what else is going on in WWE, Chimby? What's the big dog doing? Let's talk about
Oh,
Raw.
the big dog just beat Daniel Bryan in the stipulation of the match was that Daniel Bryan can no longer be on SmackDown. And we're gonna see what happens because I think that we ain't done with that. It's gonna be. I think they're gonna hold back on Cesaro for a little bit longer and do some Daniel Bryan things. And this Friday on SmackDown we have Throwback SmackDown. Let's get ready for that.
They're gonna bring out the fist, right?
I hope.
Daniel Bryan going over to Raw is a good thing. I think it's a long shot that he goes to NXT. But if he does go to NXT, we're going to see some good matches with some new opponents for him. But either way, he goes to Raw and starts something new for him. This is basically the twilight of his career. Hopefully, we get some more great matches out of him when he does go to Raw, because that's where I think he's going to go. As far as Roman Reigns and that Universal title, I think they're not going to hold Cesaro back for long. If I'm not mistaken, he is fighting Seth Rollins at Backlash, a rematch. If I'm not mistaken, that's what's happening. All right, so if he does that, they're going to try to top themselves from WrestleMania. So we don't know what type of fucking match the guy's about to pull out their ass, because it might be some next level shit. You know what I mean? So let's just wait and see there. I want to talk about Sheamus in that U.S. title, though. I think what Sheamus is doing is great work. I think Sheamus is having great matches. He's good on the mic. Him having that U.S. title the way his character is right now fits. Who's next for him?
I mean, they just set up that whole Humberto Carrillo thing. He's been going at it with him for the past month, so I can see him at least having a match with him at WrestleMania Backlash, even though like that has nothing to do with WrestleMania back at all. And Mansoor just coming over. And it seems like they're trying to just throw him right in that picture too, because they gave him the match already, but Humberto came out and interrupted it. So I can easily see that being just an easy throw-in match. Humberto Carrillo, Mansoor, Sheamus. Get these names done, fill the spot.
How much did Mansoor wrestle in NXT? I don't remember seeing him too much.
He would have a match once in the Blue Moon in NXT.
He was jobbing it, right?
Over there.
He was a jobber.
Oh no, he never jobbed in NXT.
No, okay.
For some reason, man, he was the hero, and like I get it, he's like one of their ambassadors or whatever. But yeah, they've given this boy a pretty good spotlight.
Well, I'm saying, did he show up on NXT week after week? I don't remember seeing him there, is what I'm saying.
No, he showed up in NXT once in the Blue Moon. Like I said,
right.
He would have a match like.
So what the fuck was he doing other than? I know he signed the NXT.
He's on the international scene. He's like more an ambassador. He's like doing like.
I know, but he was signed to NXT. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So he wasn't necessarily wrestling anywhere else, because that was my question.
No, he wasn't wrestling anywhere else. Just like pretty much NXT, and I think he did 205 Live a bunch too.
Okay,
sounds like right.
I probably missed him there because I never fucking watched 205 Live. Chammy, what you think about the title picture with Sheamus?
I think that's really cool. He's if you haven't noticed, he's wrestling all international stars, all people from all over the world. So maybe they're waiting. I don't know who it could be. Maybe they're waiting to bring like somebody up who's international and beat him for the belt. And I really hope they do that because I really want to keep. I love open challenges. I love when they do stuff.
Isn't Sheamus international?
He is international. I like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying the people he's been fighting. He just fought a guy from India. Then he fought Humberto Carrillo from down South America. So I'm hoping he's fighting more international stars where we get to a really big international star that beats him. There's always a, there's always a good, ending to any story with a great wrestler. Sheamus is really doing good. I think that even the angle with Jeff Hardy had last summer, all the end of his stories have good paybacks at the end,
Yeah, I hear that, and obviously we'll do a preview of WrestleMania Backlash. I hate fucking saying that. We'll do a preview of Backlash next week, but not to get too deep into it. I do want to go back and touch on the Cesaro thing. They better not fuck this up and strike when it's stale already because they can't let it get stale. What Cesaro did at WrestleMania, I think where his character is going right now, they can't mess this up because this is his like last chance to really be a main eventer. I think in my mind, like how many more chances are they going to test him with? They keep testing him, but they'll never let him get too far. So hopefully, this next match for Seth Rollins tears the house down again, and then we can get this guy versus Roman Reigns, and maybe he beats him, and then he loses the belt down the road back to him. But maybe you give Cesaro a shot to run with that title. I think.
I definitely hope they're going to take advantage of the opportunity, man. Like he's been waiting very patiently for a long time, and it seems like the business now, at least from my eyes, is giving people like a little more chances than they used to have. Like it's just kind of wait your turn, man. And I think Cesaro's turn is definitely coming up. Like he's been very patient, and he still puts on match after match after match after good show after good show. And I definitely think his earning going against Seth is nothing but a building block. It's nothing like better but that. Like he can only like get higher and higher from that point. Seth's already been in the main event spots. Perfect.
No, I hear that. I hear that. So, what we got on the Intercontinental title picture, Jim?
We got him right now. Apollo Crews is still a champion. Big E, is probably going to rebound on. They're probably. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a rematch at the pay-per-view. That's all that's happening right there. There's not much craziness happening there. It's pretty clear cut.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about their dead ass tag team division.
It's
it's cool.
the only good thing that's going to happen is you're probably going to see RK Bro win the belts at some point, or Randy Orton's going to stab him in the back.
That's some bullshit. I hope he
Not the
RKO's the
RK
fuck out of
Bro.
that dude. I hope he RKO's the fuck out of Matt Riddle because I can't even see them. I don't even know why they put that shit together. But
Not the RK Bro.
I do want to touch on there's a triple threat match coming up, right? Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Asuka. That was originally a singles match, I believe. But of course, WWE need to throw Charlotte into the mix. I thought she was going back for more surgery with her teeth, but apparently she'll be good, right?
It looks like it. It looks like she'll be in the match once again, putting herself in there. It's still gonna be a good match. In a way, I'm kind of like, but in a way, I'm kind of like, all right, something different. Like these three people that haven't had too many triple threat matches together gonna have a match. I don't know. This
Asuka's getting pinned.
something about matches sale.
Asuka's getting pinned. That's why they did it.
I think Rhea Ripley's losing the belt to Charlotte. That's what I think.
Nah,
Pinning
I think
Asuka.
it's too early for that. It's
By
way too
pinning
early for
Asuka.
that.
It's never too early to make Charlotte the champion.
Yeah, I know. Like, what is she, like 11 time, right?
Yeah, yeah. She's on her way. Trying to match Daddy.
Put me in the match. I'll win another championship.
So what's going on with Bianca Belair?
Oh, Bianca
going against Bailey.
That's a good match. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily. We've seen that match. I think we've seen that match, but we haven't seen it on this level, obviously.
Not for the championship. It's happening.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in the preview. You know what I'm saying? So before we wrap up with the WWE, I want to kick one thing off to y'all. What's the deal with Adam Cole? Where is he? Have you heard anything? And where do you think he's going?
Last I heard Adam Cole, he just cut a promo last week. He's having an interview by the pool. He's dressed up in his like fancy suit and everything, and he's saying, "Look, the best Adam Cole is yet to come." But they hadn't. I thought he was actually going to pop up this week, but he didn't. So still very curious to see what they're doing with that. If they are going to set up another championship match with Karrion Cross. I just had to see him somehow getting involved.
You don't think he's getting the call up if he's talking like the best is yet to come? One, does that sound like a new catchphrase? Because if you give a new catchphrase, you're getting called up. He just lost to Kyle O'Reilly in a great match, and he lost to him. Well, I'm gonna say clean, but it was a fucking death match for Christ's sake. But I think
No such thing as a clean death match.
he went out. You know what I'm saying. But he went out on his back in NXT. There's nothing more for him to do down there. He's been everything from tag team champion, North American champion, world champion, whatever they had for him. I mean, everything from War Games. I mean, there's nothing left for him to do. He broke up the Undisputed Era. He lost to Kyle O'Reilly in the main event. It's time for him to get moved up, champion.
Yeah, this interview they had last week was really good. It was one of the ending points of NXT. It was one of the last segments, and he was a completely different person. He was screaming at the guy interviewing him, getting all hype. I was like, "Ooh, I like this Adam Cole. This is different." And one thing they always do, what do they always do? If you work for that company, you can say NXT. But once you start saying, "I don't care," this is what he literally kind of said. I'm pretty sure he said, "I don't care. It doesn't matter where I go. I can go to Raw, SmackDown. I can go back. I can go NXT. This and that." When you say those names to other companies, that usually means you're going to get a call up very soon. So I think that they made a new character with Adam Cole. They're changing him up a little bit. He's becoming more aggressive, which he already was on the mic a little bit, but this was just a different guy sitting at a pool in a suit, looking, like he just might be signing a new contract to go somewhere else. That's what it kind of looks like. It looks like, real life imitating real life when people get contracts in sports. They have a guy interviewing them, talking about how good he is. Doesn't matter where he goes, this and that. So I think Adam Cole is getting the call up very, very soon. We'll see him on TV.
Yeah, I agree. I think Adam Cole might be on his way to being top 5 dead or alive, which takes us to our next segment, which is the top 5. Chimby, what's our topic for the top 5 of this week?
The top 5 is best wrestlers of all time.
Best male wrestlers of all time. Let's go. I'll go first because I'm the host. So number 5 on the Mods best wrestlers of all time list is the Macho Man Randy Savage. For obvious reasons, the man behind the scenes when they were preparing for matches, when they were talking about their matches, when they were planning their matches, the word on the street is Macho Man was the most meticulous and perfect match planner to ever wrestle. And then when he got in the ring, I cannot remember too many bad Macho Man matches, if there's any. That man is a fucking legend. And who talked like that? I mean, like his name was Randy Savage, and he was savage as fuck. Number 4 on my list is The Undertaker. Again, for obvious reasons, this man, we call another guy Mr. WrestleMania, but this guy was really probably Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, he had the unbelievable streak that went on for 2 decades, over 2 decades. Then he was good enough to put people over and end the streak and still put on some great matches. If you look at that streak and look at all the people he wrestled, I mean, from Jimmy Snuka, Shawn Michaels, I mean, it's a CM Punk, amazing. The Undertaker, multiple time champion. Once he got to WWE/WWF, he stayed there, and in my opinion, he's the best gimmick ever. My number 3 is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, first of all, he's probably the best wrestler when it comes to adapting generation after generation after generation. He's evolved his character to match the times, no matter what time it was. I mean, from Lionheart all the way down to the Painmaker. I mean, Chris Jericho's the man. He's done it all. Multiple time Intercontinental Champion, multiple time World Champion, first ever undisputed champion. He did it in WCW. He won titles there. I mean, the man is a fucking true legend, and he's still going today. He's actually the only guy on this list who's still going today. And for him to be number 3, it just goes to show you he might be number 1 one day when it's all said and done. Number 2, speaking of Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels. Look, I don't even like this fucking guy, right? I didn't like Shawn Michaels before I read his book, and after I read his book, I hated him more. Hate is a strong word. I disliked the shit out of him though. But that man knew what it was to be a wrestler. Talk about somebody who checks all the boxes. Shawn Michaels checked all the boxes when it comes to professional wrestling. From the time he super kicked Marginetti through the barbershop window, and then ending his career with The Undertaker and everything in between, his matches with Bret Hart, his matches with his own friends, his ladder match with Razor Ramon. Shawn Michaels is another guy who's done it all as far as carrying titles. And once he got to WWE / WWF, he never left, and he put that company on his back for several years. And again, who's had better WrestleMania matches? I mean, my number 3 was Chris Jericho, and Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho was one of the best WrestleMania matches ever. And I think you guys know, I think the wrestling world knows, you guys as my friends know who number 1 is. Goes without saying, it's the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Ric Flair's the man, 16 world titles, went from territory to territory to territory to territory, beating the best wrestler. He went everywhere, and beat everybody. Then he went to WWF, WWE with the fucking NWA title because they didn't want to pay him for it. So he kept that motherfucker and brought it over to another company, won their title, was actually the first person to win the world title from the Royal Rumble. And he went on to have a great feud with Randy Savage. That was awesome, with the whole Miss Elizabeth thing. And then he comes back to WCW, and he's an awesome wrestler. I mean, talk about the Four Horsemen, talking about the helicopters, the Halliburton, the fucking Armani suits and all that shit, the Rolex watches. No one was better on the mic than Ric Flair. Still to this day, you'll look at high school locker rooms and they're mimicking Ric Flair. Like Joe Rogan said it best. He said, Ric Flair is so dope. The mention of his name ignites a woo. You say Ric Flair, people say woo. That's just what it is. Ric Flair is the best ever. And that is my top 5. I got Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Undertaker, and Macho Man Randy Savage all time. What y'all got for me?
You gotta go next, Jim, or me?
Oh, y'all want to talk about my list and how dope it was?
I mean, I like your list. It's just, I don't know, some of it's too obvious. You know what I mean?
What you mean
That's
too
what I
obvious?
like.
Yeah, it's obviously that these are the top 5 motherfuckers ever. Obviously.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, you're right. All right.
I'm gonna do my list so we can get so you can get your opinion about it. So here we go. So number 5.
He's gonna tear me a new one when we start.
I'm gonna get tear before you. Don't worry. Number 5. I look at here's what I look at the best wrestler: in-ring performance, the character or characters they did, and mic talk. Number 5, Owen Hart. Owen Hart had Slammies, he had title belts, he had great matches. He really helped a lot of people become better stars. And he went too early. If you could imagine Owen Hart being alive during like the birth of the Attitude Era and onward into Ruthless Aggression, wrestling Kurt Angle and John Cena, that would be amazing. So I give Kurt Angle as number 5 best wrestler of all time.
You said Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because you just
Owen
said
Hart.
Kurt Angle. Stop smoking
I said
cannabis.
Imagine Owen Hart was still alive, wrestling in the Ruthless Aggression Era, wrestling Kurt Angle.
I say I gotta
That's what
take
I'm
notes
saying.
for your shit. I gotta take notes for your list because I'm at to roast your shit. But go ahead.
Probably. All right. So number 4, I'm gonna give to a guy that also died, in his prime, that was doing amazingly, won a bunch of belts, wrestled a different style, was great on the mic, completely different than what a lot of wrestlers look like. He was kind of smaller, scrawny, Mexican. Eddie Guerrero. That's number 4 on my list. Eddie Guerrero. That's what I'm doing right there. Eddie Guerrero. Number 3 on my list, a guy that could talk on the mic, could still have good matches, and played a character that has surpassed anything out of wrestling. Now, I know he's in a different world right now, but he still came from wrestling, and he's, in my opinion, the 3rd best wrestler of all time, and that's The Rock. That's right. The Rock on my list. Third best wrestler of all time. Number 2, I'm on part of your list. The Undertaker. The Undertaker is the second best wrestler of all time. There was nobody like him when he first came out. I was like, yo, who's this? Because I'm a taller guy. So seeing somebody that resembled me when I was younger, looked like me, I was like, oh, I like this. Then he was doing like jumping clotheslines and flying around the ring and doing all different types of moves. Seeing the Tombstone for the first time was amazing. Then his career surpassed also any kind of wrestler in WWE, where he became the guy beating people over and over and over again at WrestleMania, and being one of those people that when you go to a live show, which I can't wait to go to one very soon, when you hear that sound of the gong or anything, you stand right up. You stand right up out of your seat, and you won't forget an event where the Undertaker's at, no matter what. I've been seeing him at a bunch of events. I always remember it. And then number 1 on my list, Shawn Michaels, one of the best workers, one of the best people on the mic, and played his character the best way. And he had matches with people. You can look at all the matches he had during his title run. A lot of them were poop matches, but he was making people look amazing. He made Mankind, who was basically a deathmatch wrestler at that point, look amazing at that SummerSlam. He wrestled Diesel, who couldn't really move around that much at that point, in amazing matches over and over again. He had rematches galore with him. And he wrestled a lot of people who really not only made him better, but he made them better. He helped out the business. That's my list.
First of all, I took some notes while you were talking. How in the holy fuck do you have Owen Hart and The Rock on your list and you don't have Ric fucking Flair on your list? Are you fucking
This is my list. You have your list.
King's Cannabis? Stop sending shit to Chimpy
No.
because it's too strong and you fried his fucking brain.
That's your list. You think Ric Flair's the
No,
greatest?
stop. I'm not saying you have to make him the greatest, and I have no beef with Eddie Guerrero. I'm not saying you have to make him the greatest. But you got Owen Hart and The Rock on your list, and you don't have Ric Flair on your list. At least make him 5. What the fuck? And second of all, God rest, Owen Hart's soul, right? R.I.P. to Owen Hart. Shouts out to his family and all that. But get the fuck out of here, yo. What are you really? I mean, he did some things. He had some pretty good matches, but you can't compare the Blue Blazer to motherfucking Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Like you
I absolutely could. 100%.
Yo, the man wrestled in the shadow of his brother his whole fucking career. Ric Flair wrestled in the shadow of no one. And then, okay, so The Rock. All right, so there's certain reasons where I can see The Rock being in somebody's top 5. But the fact that you don't have Ric Flair there, when The Rock, there'd be no Rock without Ric Flair. There'd be no Rock mic work without Ric Flair's style of mic work. There'd be no guys wearing suits like that and dressing a certain way with the sunglasses and shit without Ric Flair. The Rock is one of Ric Flair's fucking kids, bro. Big ass kid, but that's one of his children, man. Look, I don't know about that list. I mean, I of course I had Michaels, I had Taker, and I love Eddie Guerrero, so I'm not mad at that. But the fact that you had Owen Hart and The Rock on there and not Ric Flair, your list is trash. Go ahead, Reggie.
That's your pick. Go ahead.
What you got? At least you ain't have. No, go ahead, Reggie. Because I know he's on Reggie's list, and I'm gonna roast him. Go.
All right. All right, let's get this started. Coming at number 5, let's get this over with. I'm throwing in my ball. John Cena, baby. Grown man Cena fan.
God, I'm gonna roast that shit.
Come on, man. You're gonna talk about checking all the boxes. What box hasn't he checked? Oh, what are you gonna say? Intercontinental Championship. That's about it. But he's done it all. He's the only one to even tie Ric Flair when it comes to the titles. So I know he doesn't have to be on your list. He doesn't have to be on Chimmy's list, but he's on Antonio Marx's list. All right, let's get that straight. So number 4, you'll be throwing up Ahmad's number 1, Mr. Wu, Ric Flair, man, because you can't have wrestling without saying the name Ric Flair, man. Like if everybody thought Mr. Hogan was synonymous with wrestling, I definitely think it goes more to Ric Flair because Hogan faded out that spotlight. Right? Everybody knows a Ric Flair. Hulk Hogan's more like this little comic book character you would read about as a kid. Coming number 3. Ready for the roast? Best there is, best there was, the best there ever will be. My man Bret the Hitman Hart.
He was none of those things.
I might have been waiting for this all night. So like I already know you got your notes down because you knew he was on my list. So you can keep that list to your side. Number 2, I'm definitely throwing up The Undertaker. Even though I might bump I might have to bump this list. But number 2, I'm definitely throwing up The Undertaker. Like you can't I don't even have to say anything about that, man. Like The Undertaker has a legacy that'll never die. A 20 plus win streak at WrestleMania is not going to be repeated. It'll never go anywhere. Just say you don't even like The Undertaker is like holy zen. Like it just doesn't exist. Like the man has done too much for the sport, and he's like everything. I wasn't the biggest fan of the American Badass gimmick. Well, you know what? It worked, and you know what? He got it over with it and went right back to the dead man gimmick, which was what we all loved in the first place. So I kind of forgave him for that. And number 1 was kind of tied between Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels. Like I couldn't pick a one. I couldn't.
Follow the rules, man. Take somebody off. You gotta follow the rules,
All right.
man.
If that's the case, then I got to take Bret off.
No, you gotta leave Bret on.
I gotta leave Bret on for you. But like Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels are
I'll give you the top.
share like they kind of share that spot to me, man. I couldn't put a number 1.
Done.
So if you really want to go there, I'm gonna have to do a top 6 and Jericho over
I'll
Michaels.
give you the tie. I'll give you 1A and 1B. All right.
Chris Jericho is 1A and Shawn Michaels is 1B.
Okay.
How about that?
Obviously, you have Michaels and Taker on your list, so I'm not going to argue there. But let's talk about the 3-second tan man. We're going to talk about the 3-second tan man first. Let's talk about John Cena being your number 5. Now, I'm trying to think of your criteria because this was your top 5 all-time greatest wrestlers.
Yep.
And I understand if we were talking about your favorite wrestlers, he'd be number 1. But you put him at number 5 over, like, was John Cena, like, he's not better than, say, Eddie Guerrero or Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I mean? I mean, he had 5 moves for 15 years, and then he gained like 2 or 3 more. I mean, he didn't have bad matches, but he always had great opponents. And you put John Cena there. Was John Cena better than Randy Orton? I don't know.
Was Owen Hart better than John Cena?
I'm gonna we already roasted the Owen Hart. John.
I'm just saying, like, no, like you're gonna trash on my list, and like,
no, I don't think Owen Hart was better than John Cena at all. But all right, so let's go to Bret Hart. Y'all like these fucking Hart brothers and shit, huh? I'm surprised Jim the Anvil fucking Neidhart wasn't on one of your fucking lists. I can't wait to do a tag team so I can roast.
You might have been on Nazi's if.
So I can't wait to do the tag team so I can roast your Hart Foundation pick. They're not my top 5. No, look,
they're not in my top 5 tag teams.
I don't dislike Bret Hart. I think he was fantastic. I thought he was a great wrestler, but he's drastically overrated. First and foremost, the man wrestled the same fucking match for 30 years. He did the same shit in his matches for at least 20 years. Okay? And his best matches were against some all-time greats who pretty much carried him and sold the hell out of themselves for him in those matches. I understand y'all call him top 5 and all that shit. He's not top 5 because you can't keep doing it. He wasn't innovative at all. I think Bret Hart was overrated. He couldn't talk on the mic. He's boring as fuck. His matches were boring as fuck. And when they weren't boring as fuck, it's because he had a great opponent. But Bret Hart wrestled the same match versus Jobber as he did the main event of WrestleMania. He's a bum. He's not a bum. He's a great wrestler, but that man
kept me entertained a good chunk of my wrestling fanhood. So
that man is not a top 5. You know, and maybe because I was already like older when Bret Hart was wrestling, and to an older teenager, early 20s guy, he wrestled in the dead era. To me, that was the deadest era of my wrestling life, including, you know, now. It wasn't, everybody was watching WCW at that time anyway, at least the people I was around, the wrestling fans that I was around. Because the WWF, I mean, it was good, but when Bret Hart was champ and all that, that was the fucking dead era, man. You know, that era right before the Attitude Era and the NWO and stuff. But I'm not gonna keep roasting Bret Hart like that.
Yes,
I
you are.
respect your list. At least you had Ric Flair on your list, so I'm not gonna call your list trash per se, but it could be recycled. So it's like that goes in the recycling bin. Especially you came with a tie and shit, like breaking the rules and all that. What do you think about
I squeezed Brett on just to piss you off.
What do you think about the list, Chimby?
Because I knew you were waiting to roast him. I was like, I got to put Brett on now because he's waiting on it.
I think there are gonna be like 15 other wrestlers I pick over John Cena. I'm sorry, John Cena. Yeah, John Cena is good on mic, but he's just like, oh, it's the same old crap. I'm just tired of it. I just don't like it. I'm not a fan of John Cena because of that reason. I mean, yeah, good match. He does have every now and then he'll have an amazing match with somebody, like when he like against Umaga or something like that from back in the day. But past, sometimes it's just like too much. Like, oh, same moves, same crap, same talking on the mic. And
same jeans shorts.
It's funny you picked up John Cena because I feel like Bret Hart or John Cena are like the same freaking dude. Think about it. They do the same moves every match.
Same moves.
Same moves.
Michaels.
They wear the same thing to the ring every time.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on that.
Same interview.
Bret Hart wore the same gear.
Same two dudes. I don't like either one of them.
Bret Hart wore the same.
He was the original Luke Harper, all right?
Like he wore the same leather jacket for 30 years. Yeah. The same leather jacket. He didn't even switch the leather jacket up. I understand, like he switched his gear up, but he had the same like 4 outfits for 30 years. Y'all love yourself some Bret Hart. That motherfucker was a one-trick pony. That dude was a one-trick pony, man.
And so was John Cena, right? So was John Cena, right?
John Cena was a 5-trick pony. Let's get.
When you say John Cena and Bret Hart,
I'm trying to think who was better, man. I mean, I see what you're saying with that, but I'm trying to think who was actually better. I have to give it to John Cena is better than Bret Hart, man, because
straight.
John Cena did different shit and had better matches eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't bore me to death with his matches. Bret Hart, man, I can go get a fucking burger, come back. This motherfucker is still doing elbows and
is that because of the talent roster that John Cena had, as opposed to Bret Hart, and Bret Hart didn't have that?
No, Bret Hart had some great dudes. What are you talking about? Bret Hart had great people to wrestle, and they carried his ass and sold for him. That's what made him great. And you hear about people talk that Bret Hart shit when they were kids watching this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't a kid watching Bret Hart. I was like, fuck this guy, man. He's not that good. And Shawn Michaels showed him up every chance he could, man. I mean, he kind of made him look stupid on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that Bret Hart couldn't talk on a mic and Shawn Michaels could, he got his ass kicked on the mic, man. And he never beat Shawn Michaels for the world title. Even though you had Shawn Michaels on your list as the best, I believe, right? So I think the constant on all of our lists was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. I think we can agree that they're definitely top 5 guys. I'm surprised nobody had Macho Man. Yeah, how's Owen Hart better than Macho Man, bro? Like,
I was going to touch on that. Like, Owen Hart.
What are you talking about?
Watch his matches. Watch some Owen Hart matches. Look at his interviews.
All right. Yeah.
I believe
man's interview skills were insane. His interviews are amazing.
You're making me like diss Owen Hart. I don't want to diss Owen Hart. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dissing
him.
I'm not dissing him. But dude ain't top 10, man. Like, come on. You made him top 5.
He is to me.
He wore police cross gear to the ring with his
What does it matter?
Because that goes into everything. Like, he was corny. He wasn't good on the microphone either.
Oh, he was great on the microphone.
No,
You're out of your mind.
Wasn't.
Oh, he had great interviews.
He was whiny, bro. He was really whiny.
That was his character. That's
I know,
who he played.
It wasn't great though.
You're saying it's whiny, then it is great. You're
saying Owen Hart is better than Kurt Hennig.
I am saying that. Yes,
mind.
I am.
You're out of your mind, bro.
I wouldn't go that far. That's
out of your
Kurt Hennig wasn't on any of our lists, was he?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Owen Hart ain't even top 10. Yo, bro, you're trying to tell me Owen Hart was better than Sting and Chris Benoit, is what you're telling me.
Yes, I am. Yes.
You're fucking crazy.
That's what I think. That's my opinion.
Oh my
you have your
God.
opinion. I have
King's
mine.
Cannabis, everybody.
King's Cannabis, yo, shouts out to them. Shouts out to
I ain't
King's
been to
Cannabis,
Oregon. Get
yo.
out here.
Yo,
I ain't
you
been to
smoking that
Oregon.
shit though. You smoking.
Oh man.
Rick will talk about how I
No,
got
that's
it.
not what it is. That's
but-
not what it is.
Yo, it is. It has to be because
No, it's
you
not. It's my
sound
opinion.
crazy as hell though.
I'm not. I'm saying I feel Owen
Oh
Hart
my
is
God.
top 5 on my list.
You
That's
said
what my
Owen
list
Hart
is.
was
Yes.
better than both Sting and Chris Benoit.
Yes, that's what I said. Yes.
I like that
believe
Owen made his list, but Brett didn't.
Wait.
Yeah.
Ric Flair didn't make his list. He said Owen Hart's
No,
better
I
than
know,
Ric
I
Flair.
know. Yeah, you're right. You gotta think about it. My age, I didn't see a lot of Ric Flair. I saw Ric Flair. I
you
saw
didn't
Ric Flair
have
when he
to
was
see-
like,
Bro,
I saw him when he was later.
you
know
don't
what I mean?
have to watch Jim Brown to know that Chris Johnson wasn't as good as Jim Brown.
I feel like
bro.
you do. I feel like you need your eyes and you need your ears and senses to
You're insane.
enjoy all that and get it all in. You know.
So you got
right
to
now.
see. Wait, hold on. So Chris Johnson rushed for 2,000 yards. You got to see that. So you're saying he's better than Jim Brown because you didn't see Jim Brown play? Is that what you're fucking?
I'm
telling
not
me?
saying that at all. But I'm saying
Okay,
that
then. So your point is
I didn't
null
see
and
Ric
dead.
Flair in his heyday. You did.
Saw Ric Flair though. You got the peacock.
Not in his heyday. Not in his great. Not in his
You know what I'm
greatness.
saying? What the fuck? Like
Not in his greatness.
You're telling me that you never seen Ric Flair in his prime wrestle a match?
No, I have not.
You haven't looked back on any Ric Flair shit since you had the network.
I have some, but not far back.
You need to go.
And that's
watch
why I
some
can't.
of
And
that
that's why I
shit.
can't. Why would I put somebody in my top 5 just because I watch it? Be like, boom, right away. There's people top 5 that I've enjoyed through my time of watching wrestling.
Ric Flair was better than Owen Hart.
That's your opinion.
When Owen Hart was alive.
That's your opinion.
No, that's a fact though.
That's your opinion. My opinion is I like Owen Hart.
That's a wrestling god fact. Yo, the wrestling gods are gonna strike your ass down. You're lucky you indoors, yo. Cause I think it's raining outside, man. You be fucking dead. You're crazy. You're crazy. Ric Flair is like all these people. Fucking Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat. None of them can lace Owen Hart's boots, in your opinion, huh? That's bananas. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be killing Owen Hart because, well, no pun intended. I don't mean to be dissing Owen Hart, because he is dead. But I have to be honest, man. That dude isn't good as some of the guys we named. Like, not even close. Owen Hart might be a top 30 guy. He's not top 10. He's not better than CM Punk. Like, I could name so many dudes. And then, like, Reggie put the fucking Rock on his list. I mean, God. I mean, I like the Rock. I think he was great. But he's not better than Randy Savage. He's not better than Steamboat. Is he better than Chris Benoit? In your opinion, he is. Y'all are crazy. Y'all just...
Rock was on Timmy's list.
Rock was on my list.
Damn. The Rock was on your list, wasn't it? He was number 5 on your list. Yeah, that's right. Because Timmy's list was trash. That's why. Yo, but let's let the people know that we are going to have different segments. Top 5 is a constant for us, but we have something new coming for you next episode. It is fantasy booking. Chimby, tell the people what our fantasy booking segment is.
Fantasy booking. We're going to be booking a fantasy scenario of wrestling, and the next one we're doing is WrestleMania 4 tournament, but we're going to be dealing with WCW, NWA wrestlers from the 80s.
So basically, wrestlers from that time in NWA and WCW/WCW, we'll say, we're going to replace the WrestleMania 4 tournament with guys like Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and all that stuff, right? And I'm going to go first, and I will be booking this tournament. So look out for that next week. But I do think our next episode will be a preview of, and I hate fucking saying this, WrestleMania Backlash. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about that. Our next episode, no. Our next episode, we'll be recapping Blood and Guts briefly because it's not going to be much to recap. But we will be reviewing the first episode of season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring, which is Brian Pillman. It's in 2 parts, so we'll have to wait and see if they show both parts on the first night, or are we going to have to wait a week to see part 2? If they show both parts on the first night, we will be recapping and reviewing that because I've already watched the first episode and there's a lot of things that I didn't know about Brian. So, and I was a fan. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that. And that episode will be the fantasy booking. The episode to follow that will be the preview to WrestleMania Backlash. And if there's nothing else, man, Chimpy, what you got for us on the outro, bro?
What I got for us is don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, look us up on Twitter. On it's not fake to us, and I mean that's all I gotta say.
All right, Chim, my tag team partner, Reggie, Antonio, Marks and Marksman, John Cena fan like a motherfucker. What's up, man? What you got for the peoples?
Hope y'all enjoy the show. And in the words of my man, if you like some, come get some.
God, that sucks so bad. And I am your host of Mod the Dark Show. And thank you for listening again. And make sure you tune in next time to the Fancast, the It's Not Fake Fancast. Welcome once again and goodbye. That's just perfect.
Peace.